We got some breaking news here on Midas Touch and Legal AF around the nomination of the acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche, to be Attorney General. He's now announced that he's obtained the votes of Senators Cornyn of Texas and Tillis of North Carolina because he has, quote unquote, rescinded the Jan 6 fund. But the focus should not be on the May 18th Jan 6 fund. It should be on the May 19th release that he gave unilaterally pursuant to a phony settlement agreement, giving a pardon or immunity to the Trump family retroactively for all tax liability dating back decades, meaning he gave his boss, in return for getting the nomination, over $1 billion worth of tax relief. And he's not rescinding that. He's rescinding the Jan 6 fund of May 18th, but not the unilateral half-page settlement that he signed to give his boss that relief, the pardon that even the Supreme Court didn't give Donald Trump. He's issued on his social media account 2 pieces of paper. 1, formally renouncing the fund, and 2, telling everybody else to go pound sand. He's not going to be renouncing the amended settlement agreement. But that doesn't change what's going on down in Judge Williams' courtroom in Miami, because she already said that the settlement agreement was the byproduct of an illicit, bad faith settlement of an illegitimate lawsuit. So then the question is begged. How can you settle a case and have a super pardon for Donald Trump when the underlying case was illegitimate? I'm Michael Popak. Let's get down to the brand new reporting we all woke up to this morning. Todd Blanche making the following announcement, and we'll put it up on the screen. Here's what he has said in his X account. 2 pieces of paper, he says, before he posts it. My team and I have met with committee members and senators over the past several weeks and addressed any concerns or outstanding questions. One was about the Epstein scandal, Todd Blanche's treatment of it, and the victims. The second was about the Jan 6 fund and the settlement amendment, which allowed for the super pardon or release to Trump and his family, which remains standing. We have enjoyed good faith discussions, and as a result, the following order and update with regard to the May IRS settlement. Again, a settlement declared invalid by Judge Williams in Miami. The department, and here's what it says in the first piece of paper, which we'll post up on the screen. August 2nd, 2026. A, the Attorney General's May 18th, 2026 order establishing the anti-weaponization fund is rescinded and shall have no force or effect. Notice how he focuses only on the May 18th order, not his May 19th amendment to that order establishing the super immunity for Donald Trump, Trump's family, all the Trump affiliates, which total more than 400, about tax and potentially criminal liability. And B, for the avoidance of doubt, nothing in this order is intended to contradict or otherwise be contrary to prior representations by the Department of Justice that the fund is not operative. No members were appointed, no funds were transferred, no process for receiving claims was established, no claims were paid. And then he talks about what he considers to be frivolous lawsuits, including the one before Judge Brinkema in the Eastern District of Virginia and the one in front of Judge Williams. I don't think either judge will appreciate those cases being called frivolous. They certainly haven't found that. Now, the litigation over this, then that proclamation does not answer the fundamental question. How could you have settled a case at all if the underlying lawsuit was in bad faith and illegitimate as declared by Judge Williams in Miami? You notice he completely ignores that and completely ignores in this posting any reference to his May 19th 1-paragraph unilateral amendment giving that super pardon. On that, there's another piece of paper, which is this sort of a press release. Department of Justice rescinds the anti-weaponization order and addresses the May 19th release. So he's not rescinding the May 19th release. He's just explaining it. But the explanation doesn't do any better. This here alone is another impeachable offense, both for Donald Trump and for Todd Blanche. The fact that he would, in order to get the job, offered to give $1 billion or more of tax relief and criminal immunity to Donald Trump and his family in return to get the nomination. That's impeachable on both sides of the aisle, on both sides of the equation, Trump and Blanche, right? And the fact that he's now doubling down on it and has the apparently the vote support from Cornyn or Tillis. Now is the time to flood the zone with phone calls to your senator to tell him this isn't good enough. They were always hiding the ball, and that's why they did it in two parts. May 18th, they do the settlement Jan 6 fund. Oh, let's give $1.776 billion to people who attacked the Capitol and Capitol Police. Trump never cared about that. He always cared about the thing that happened the next day. That's the thing that tore his administration apart. As soon as that next day, May 19th event happened, the first thing that happened is the general counsel for the Treasury Department resigned. He didn't want to be involved with this. He didn't want history to write his involvement. Look, magnesium is something most of us aren't getting enough of. And if you're just grabbing the drugstore version, you may not be getting the full picture. Industrial farming, chronic stress, and everyday aging can all make it harder to get the magnesium your body needs. The thing is, magnesium comes in many forms, and each one supports your health in a different way. That's why you need to try Qualia Magnesium Plus. It combines 10 bioavailable forms of magnesium with more than 70 trace minerals that help fuel magnesium support. It's designed to help support deeper sleep, sharper thinking, faster recovery, muscle strength, mood, and energy metabolism. It's not just a sleep supplement, it's a full body magnesium system built for modern living to help you feel your best every day. It's time to improve your sleep and enhance your recovery with Qualia Magnesium Plus. For me, Qualia Magnesium Plus has been a simple addition to my routine that I've genuinely enjoyed. Experience the most trusted magnesium for purity, potency, and performance. Plus, it's non-GMO, vegan, and gluten-free, making it a choice you can feel good about. Go to qualialife.com/legalaf for 50% off. And here's a bonus. Use the code LEGALAF for an additional 15% off your order. That's QUALIA life.com/legalaf and use code LEGALAF. Thanks to Qualia for sponsoring this episode. Here's what Blanche writes about the May 19th release, or what we call the super pardon. Further, the May 19th, 2026 order regarding a mutual release of claims applies by its terms only retroactively, meaning, oh, well, it's not so bad because it's only from the date I entered into the amendment to the settlement agreement that's invalid backwards. But there are, right now, just as an example, there is a $100 million dispute between Donald Trump, his family, and the IRS over past tax liabilities that he didn't pay when he tried to take a $75 million deduction to wipe out all of his tax payments for a 4-year period when he was on The Celebrity Apprentice. Until this year, that was his most lucrative year. He's now made hundreds of billions of dollars while he's in the White House. But so retroactive doesn't help us. Giving them, what if they committed criminal tax fraud? Oh no, that's gone. What if they owe, because of audits that have been ongoing for the last 14 years, hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars in tax exposure for 400 entities under the Donald Trump Revocable Trust or his family? Oh no, that's gone too. Oh, really? So let's continue. The May 19th order applies retroactively. Additionally, the terms lawfare and or weaponization were already defined in the settlement agreement as the use of government power to target individuals, groups, and entities for improper and unlawful political, personal, or other ideological reasons. They'll characterize everything the future administration does against Donald Trump and his family to fall into that category. It's so broad. The acting attorney general stands by all of his July 15th Senate Judiciary Committee testimony, including answers to questions by Senator Cornyn related to the scope and the applicability of the May 19th order. Let me play you a clip of that particular testimony so that you know what we're talking about. Play the clip.
I want to ask you about the release, and I know I'm guilty of what a lot of lawyers are guilty of, in having a chart you can't read. but I know you're familiar with this document, which is the release that you signed on May the 19th, 2026. First of all, does this purport to release parties or people who were not parties to the lawsuit?
No, Senator.
Well, it says here that claims asserted by defendants or any of the plaintiffs or related or affiliated individuals, including without limitation family or others filing jointly or parties, including trusts, parent, sister, or related companies, affiliates, or subsidiaries. They weren't a party to the lawsuit, were they?
I didn't hear everything you just said, Senator, but the only parties that were that had any release as respect to any potential audits, even if they existed, were the plaintiffs in the lawsuit.
We're going to have a live stream on Legal AF YouTube of tomorrow's Blanche confirmation vote. But you see, the fix is in. Cornyn and Tillis have to be lobbied by the public and by the other senators. And there's going to have to be statements made on the floor of that Judiciary Committee vote about this switcheroo, this bait and switch with the American public. They always set it up as a bait and switch. Keep your eye on the shiny object of May 18th. Put all your direction on the May 18th Jan 6 fund and the size of it and who's it going to, and Donald Trump won't take any money from it, and disregard the May 19th creation of a super pardon release that's worth hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars to Trump and the Trump organization and its 400 related parts. That has been the attempted magic trick, but we see the wires. We see how the girl is being cut in half. And the American people are being abused. We'll continue to follow it all right here. Don't miss any trick. We're following it all here on Legal AF YouTube. Take a minute, hit the free subscribe button there. And on our Legal AF Substack, where I'll be doing live reports and reporting on this throughout the day and the week. Until my next report, I'm Michael Popak. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.
Shine, shopping online. Try it now.
Welcome to Frozen Barbecue. Please remain calm and hungry. Customer patience level unstable.
President who is a saint. No president in the history of this country has been caught in tax cheating more than this one. A Pulitzer Prize winning documentation of his tax cheating came out in 2018. Pulitzer Prize. Donald Trump said, I'm going to sue you. It's all wrong. that suit was thrown out because the president is a tax cheat. But it didn't stop with that. He was a tax cheat with his nonprofit as well. He created a so-called charity, but what did he do with that charity? It was cited by the state of New York for self-dealing, for tax cheating, and was shut down. We have a known arsonist, and we have just in this committee given him a whole barrel full of gasoline to light on fire our tax laws and have no accountability for the conflagration. This is so ridiculous that we are sitting back here and allowing this to happen. A president that we know is a tax cheat. That is a fact. That is a fact. We have now just given him an immunity to his tax cheating. Now, here's an admission I'm going to make to my colleagues on the other side. We've had presidents that have done things that, to me, do not pass the smell test and do not pass the appearance of impropriety. I think this committee should pass a law that no children of presidents should be able to grift off their parents' office. To me, it is ridiculous, the corruption that we have normalized in America, that presidents' children can go out and sit on boards and make money. That is wrong, and that is corrupting. But they have become so obsessed with the millions that the Bidens have made that they have ignored completely the billions of dollars that the Trump family is making. That is like being obsessed and using a magnifying glass to study the stain on the living room carpet when behind you is a mountain of excrement covering the living room couch and coffee table. This is so outrageous, the lack of proportionality going on my colleagues, it is laughable. This is absolutely insane that we have a president of the United States that has now made $2 billion doing what? Wow, he's such a shrewd businessman. Let me create my own crypto coin and have foreign nations invest in it. Oh, and by the way, if you are a corporation in America, put my children on the board and they'll get no bid contracts. This is the Judiciary Committee. We're supposed to be checking and balancing this nation. Why have people on both sides of the aisle given up on any trust in government? It's because we're surrendering any shred of integrity left. And now we're letting an attorney general become the highest law enforcement officer in the land and putting no holds whatsoever. I had hope for 2 weeks that we would get something. 2 weeks that we would have something substantive to stop the world's greatest presidential tax cheat from cheating. And we've done nothing. And this man is going to now sail to the floor.